Welcome to the Cyber Business Podcast, where we feature top founders and entrepreneurs and share their inspiring stories. Now, let's get started with the show.
Matthew Connor here, host of the Cyber Business Podcast. Today, we're joined by Sinan Al Taie, Cybersecurity Manager at Master Electronics. Sinan, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on. Before we get too far, and a quick word from our sponsors, hackers are getting smarter. Is your security keeping up? Cyberlinks sells cutting-edge AI-powered cybersecurity solutions that detect threats in real time, so you know about attacks before the damage is done, not after. Learn more at cyberlinks.com. That's cyber-lynx.com. And now back to our show. Sinan, for those who aren't familiar, can you tell us about Master Electronics and your role there as Cybersecurity Manager?
Sure. Master Electronics in general is a leading global authorized distributor of electronic components. Been in the business for more than half a century. It's a family-owned company. It's remained focused on strong relationships, responsive service, and added value. This is how Master Electronics has grown to serve hundreds of thousands of customers in partnership with hundreds of world-class suppliers.
I love it. So I think, your superpower, I believe, as you referred to it, is in cybersecurity strategy. And I'd love to dive into that because I think that is such a relevant and important topic these days. So what makes that your superpower, and what really gets you excited about it?
It's my journey with Master Electronics, honestly. Before I joined Master Electronics, I was in the infrastructure as a database engineer with the United Nations and the USAID missions. After that, I did the transition to the cybersecurity. After being hacked, I was a victim, and I was in the IT industry, and I started being curious about how this happened, and I went to professional development by the NEIU, the Northeastern Illinois University, and I did the transition to cybersecurity. After that, I did couple penetration tests, work related. Then I joined Master Electronics as cybersecurity analyst. I grew with the company. That's what I love about what we're doing at Master Electronics. I got exposure to building the security posture, and looking at the picture end to end and how we started and where we at now. It's a great victory, and that's what my superpower is, being strategist for building security postures.
Well, I love it. And I think that, I'm going to ask you this very specific question, because I think that AI now is finally at a place where we're starting to see some really cool things. And I'll give you an example. I think Darktrace, I don't know if you're familiar, but Darktrace, I think, is a fantastic company that I think in their product offerings, the way they use AI, they use it so intelligently that it kind of gives you a view of where AI takes us in the future when it comes to cybersecurity. Because unlike so many, let's just say so many security products where it's a traditional security product, and now they're bolting on an LLM, and they're like, no, it's powered by AI. Okay, you've introduced a whole lot of issues now because you've introduced an LLM to it, versus using the right sort of AI, like the right kind of machine learning to do the right thing, whether it be email security or network security or OT. Anyway, so I get really excited about that. And I think that's super cool. A great example of, kind of what AI can do that's super cool, and how you implement that into cybersecurity. So my question to you is, as an AI strategist, what should people be looking at and doing when it comes to AI and their cybersecurity strategy?
Yeah, thank you, Matthew, for this. AI have been done great things to us. But from cyber perspective, we focus on the risk that AI inclusion in the workflow can introduce, and applying the right controls, the monitoring, alerts, as well as the automated response. In general, in the AI inclusion is the automation, the autonomy of the workflow. And that will drive us to two paths of AI agents risks. The first one is attacks on agents. This kind of attack path, because as I said, agents are autonomy to amplify the production. And as a result, it's risk amplifier at the same time. For example, in the case of if it's something bad happen, it will be done in a high speed and the effect that a person cannot do as on the agent designed to access everything in the tools.
Yeah.
So what is need to do that's increase the risk. So for example, is the zero clicks attacks. The zero clicks attacks in any email doesn't require the human interaction. So doesn't need so if that AI agent is not designed or controlled or implemented in the right way for to action on these zero click attacks, is going to cause a lot of damage, and that damage is amplified and in a fast speed that a human defender cannot respond at that pace.
Yeah.
There is another path, which is the attacks by agents. That is in general, we saw like phishing attacks increased by using agents. And now no more like looking for a grammar error
Yep.
on the email. So that is one of the things. Malware is more smart and polymorphic and changing behavior and signatures on like real time. That's make the bad guys can simply utilizing AI to generate like handful of malware samples against their target. Ransomware, which is the famous word. Now the entire attack chain is being automated from delivering the malware, encrypting and sending the message to the victim, and even collecting the ransomware. The whole system being automated, attackers still like they have this skill level is keep going like up while the effectiveness is of the defenders is going down. So by automating the whole kill chain in one click of a button as ransomware as a service, that is the second path.
Yeah. Thinking back to like the zero click, right? So
Mhm.
this is, I think, interesting, and I think we're in this really interesting time where there's so many legacy tools being used, and now when the bad guys are using AI to circumvent the traditional, well, we've got these filters and we look for these specific, whatever tells that this is ransomware, or that this is a virus, or that this whatever. I think this is where AI comes in, right? You have to fight fire with fire. Your email has to be protected with kind of an advanced AI system that's smart enough to see this before it gets to your inbox and says, "Oh, I see this is a zero click. That's not right. Let me get that out of there for you," instead of the traditional just kind of filtering, right?
Yeah. Uh, the there are well said, well described. There are two paths we're facing now in the industry. The traditional, we cannot call it legacy because it's not a legacy, is still valid, which is the standard traditional attack path, which we do have all the security posture to defend against. The other one, which we learned after last year, September, cyber incidents, um, there is AI attack path. And this is, well, everybody talking about the AI potential. Uh, and as we describe the two paths of attacks. The AI attack path can go in particular in two directions. For example, on top of the polymorphic malware on real time can be done against, there is prompt injections. As well as there is one thing we all know about it when before even cyber intelligence was a thing, right? Is the identity. These agents being implemented in the workflow need permission to do this, what is assigned automated tasks.
Yeah.
And these agents can create another agents. So now we're facing another identity like issues by the inclusion of the AI in the environment. So this is in general what we are facing, and the solution is not by adding another tool or AI tool or like you mean for defend. We call it the defender's dilemma. So as defender and as a cybersecurity advocate, we have a dilemma. We need to be 100% all correct and right on our responses, actions, even decisions. And the bad guy, they just need to be lucky one time.
That's right.
So we need an agentic cyber defense. It's not like adding another tool. It's about deploying autonomous agents that can reason, investigate, and act alongside our team, defending in parallel with the traditional security tools.
Now, do you see that as an AI agent that runs, kind of on the desktop to kind of defend locally, or are you talking about an AI agent that runs and helps the cybersecurity professionals do their job, or both?
It's all included, and it's depend on the company infrastructure, of course. It's depend of what they have on prem, they have whatever they have on the cloud. But in general, we all been growing through the layer approach, right? Is the defense in depth methodology. So we do have on the traditional AI defense system, we do have layer approach. We do have tools that will be triggered if any of these layer have been breached, right? Or anything like on signature, anomaly, I mean, whatever basis. The AI inclusion, the agentic agents, it will be running alongside the team. When I said that, it's and generally speaking, it's finding the things that cannot the traditional tools find. For example, the attack time frame was reduced from 197 minutes in 2020, I think, if I'm not mistaken from the number, to during the MGM attack to between 7 to 9 minutes. This is before the AI attack path inclusion or existing in the industry. Now, last cyber incident last year in September, which is AI attack path, it took 77 seconds. So there is no human defender can respond in 76 seconds.
Yes.
So that what it mean, like, I mean, just as a support to the traditional and the already exist security posture and the teams, okay, we need to include agentic agents to be in parallel, looking for these small microprocesses that will not trigger the traditional tools, but if it's all compiled, it will be an attack. So that is what happened in the late 2025, the changes.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you, and I think we're in this. kind of in between stage, right? Where we're transitioning from the traditional tools that people are used to that are not AI, powered at all. And now we're moving towards AI powered tools, which I think will, when placed properly, and I'll go back to Darktrace, for instance, when you've got their endpoint detection and network, security, OT security, email security. Now you've got AI working in all these, ways, not as a fully autonomous agent, but very
Mhm.
specifically, because I mean, right now we're in a very immature stage with AI, right? I mean, you can't trust it
Mhm.
with your credit cards, with your email. You can't trust it with everything to just have an AI agent go do it. And I don't know if you've seen OpenClaw, how people have started going crazy, now that you can have this fully autonomous agent and you give it lots of access and it just runs on your whatever, if your Mac Mini or your
Yeah.
virtual your VM, whatever you put it. And now people are getting themselves into all kinds of trouble because one, they're not security experts, so they don't secure it. They've given it too much access with very broad guidelines, so bad things happen. So going back to it, I think we're in this early immature stage of AI where we need those tools to be very, very specific. And eventually I think they'll mature into AI agents like what you're talking about, where we've got a cybersecurity agent that runs, on every device, and it's checking your email as it comes in, and it checks every process, and it sees what you're doing, and it can stop those things right away. I think that's the future, right?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's going to be very exciting.
Yeah, it's very exciting. This is what we know so far. Everything is in research, and we don't know actually like where we're heading. We know actually like with the new like features I will be added. For example, we will see after the AGI will be fully. That is one of the things. Quantum computer is one of the. Okay, we have already solutions planned and designed, but it's happening sooner than we expected. Uh, but in general, Matthew, it's for now. We, as a conclusion, AI need to be deployed with wide eyes open. That's the conclusion for now.
No, I think that's really very accurate. You have to be very careful and very thoughtful about what you give it access to and the instructions that you give it. Once you do give it access to something, we have to be. These are early stages, and it's very exciting. I don't know if you've gotten to play with Claude Cowork yet. Um, but boy, is that a blast. I mean, so much cool power there. But I like it. I like that it, unlike OpenClaw with Claude Cowork, there are guardrails built in, right? So it doesn't just have unfettered access to
Mm,
anything that you connect it to. By default, it has to ask permission. And so
yeah,
if you just let the defaults go, and so I really like this, that now you give it, let's say, access to your Chrome browser, which now okay, crazy idea. You've given an AI agent full access to your Chrome, and now it can, anything that you can log into, it can go and do. So whether that's your LinkedIn, whether that's your bank, whatever it is, you can tell it, hey, I want you to go do this and that, and it can go and do that. And it's freaking mind blowing how cool this is to watch it go and be like, oh, okay, cool. And it actually does it. It thinks through it. Sometimes it runs into problems on the browser, like this window's not, this drop down's not opening, and you watch it come up with a workaround for it. This is a fascinating time we're in.
yeah, yeah. It's really fascinating for I mean the outcome. As I said, AI's done already great things for us. But you can imagine from cybersecurity perspective, what's our worries?
Yeah.
Even like from prompt injection, just defacing or damage attack can, if it's the prompt injected from external,
Yep.
from a bad guy, can wipe all the OneDrive the how like the agent has fully access to.
Yep.
So that's what we were talking about, the excessive privilege uh, or we call it the privilege escalation. But this is like, yes, it's all designed as of now with the minimum permission, okay, of the implementation. But even this, it might be need second or third review by the implementer of the AI agents, just to make sure there is critical, like whatever folder or the crown jewel of the company is not accessible by these kind of AI agents, just for the autonomy of speeding up the productions for better outcome.
Yeah. And I think when it comes to the agents, it's really easy to think that your agent is really thinking. It seems to be very logical. It seems to do, and in a way, it kind of is. And I think this is what's so fascinating. It leads people to think that, oh, it's pretty smart and it's really thinking through things. It isn't and isn't, right? Because on one hand, it's really just the world's most advanced autocomplete, and it's figuring these things out, and it's applying that to what it's doing, what it's seeing. So we're not at that AGI level yet, where when we get there, it can then easily be like, yeah, I'm not listening to that prompt injection. That's some crap,
Yeah.
right? That's garbage. Right now, it's just autocomplete. Let me do what you're telling me, and it can't really think about what it's in the way that we think it thinks, right? And so I'm kind of curious where you think things go, because you mentioned AGI and then quantum computing. I'm not sure we have jobs after AG. Like, how long do we, right? It'll be really fascinating to see, and hopefully we do. But once there's AGI, then how long does everything stick around? Like, yeah, right. That'll be a really interesting transition phase.
It's really transitioning phase, but what I thought I already published it a year and a half ago when we were discussing like AI will take our jobs. In simple, I will repeat it again during your podcast. AI will not take nobody's job, but people know how to use AI will replace people who don't. Uh,
Sure.
that's
That
that
is,
I said it a year and a half ago during one of the podcasts or web/webinar. Um, we will take the the self-driving car example,
yep,
right? The Waymo, we have it here. So um, the relationship between car and a driver was 1-to-1. This is what we learned. What is what we grew up with, right?
yep,
But with the machine learning inclusion on the self-driving cars, okay, the relationship now it's one to many.
yeah,
The fleet of the cars is orchestrated by one person, and that person for sure he or she will know how to drive.
yeah,
Okay, because that is we will gonna be. I think from my it will be more orchestration, and AI will not replace the subject matter experts because at the time there is no 100% outcome without hallucination. This is what I think, even with the AGI, and that's the main reason AGI is being delayed. By the way, everything is ready. There are two reasons: is the compute power and the alignment. So, because as much as the biological brain of a human being translated to an AGI agent, but that is include the misalignment of normal human responses.
yeah.
So yeah, that's is one of the things. It's concerning and is interesting to see. We don't know what we're getting in the next when AGI will be live.
So is it your position that when AGI comes and we've got this, super intelligence that really truly can think, are you thinking that it won't actually be we won't actually get there to where we have this super intelligence where, let's say, you put it into a robot and it, for all intents and purposes, is the smartest person to ever live by many magnitudes and has all the information in the world
Mhm.
at its fingertips and can move in the physical world and do anything. are you saying that that's not likely to happen, or when that happens, we'll still have jobs?
Yeah, we will because there is a superhuman AGI. It's a superhuman, right?
Hmm.
It's a instead of action can be the current agents can do it like, and the AGI will do like hundred of thousands at the same time. It's gonna be like the outcome, the production outcome. It will be fast. It will be like like out of for example, just example came into my mind. When we were why it's the DDoS attack is dissolved. So before we were like facing DDoS attacks like right and left, right? So because it's already tailored. So now, like with the machine learning, the traffic can be easily identified. This is a real and this is robotic.
Hmm.
Okay. So that is like when something like like exist, those superhuman AGI agents, it will be there is a solution. It will be so we that's our job as a researchers. We always think like we advocates and we go day in and day out. Where is the industry heading and how we are defending it? So it's two ways.
Yeah. Well, I certainly think we have quite a long way to go before we get there. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
some say it's a few years, up to maybe 10 years before AGI becomes a thing. Okay, that's fine. In the meantime, I think you're spot on where it comes to, because there are others who say that, well, we'll never get there. Like that's not a thing. Computers are never actually going to be able to fully think like a human, and it will look like it is kind of, and we can kind of see that now. But some think that they'll never have that kind of consciousness because we don't know how it came to be. I think that if it just iterates enough times, that may have been biologically what happened to humans. It was just enough iterations, and oh, this one works, and this one can think, right? And so maybe the same thing happens when AI is able to iterate itself so fast, it will just happen to discover it, not figure it out. It'll just be an
Yeah.
iterative thing. Okay, some believe it will happen, some believe it won't. Fine, but we certainly do have a significant period of time between now and that, whatever that is.
Hmm.
And I think you're spot on that it is really about the people who know how to use AI, and those who don't. And there's no reason to fight this whatsoever. Everybody should be really jumping in with both feet to figure out, how do I use this in my job to make me better? And go one more. It was interesting. Microsoft, when they implemented Copilot, I don't know if you heard about this, but they implemented Copilot and they did this big study internally as to the adoption internally at Microsoft. And they found, of course, they had their early adopter people who were, kind of advanced and they liked it and they used it. But it was the overwhelming majority of people, and it was something like 75 or 80% of people used it for a very short period of time, like a week or two or three, and then never used it again. And what they found as they dove into the data and really looked at this and tried to figure it out was that AI now it's more about managing the skills aren't using it as a tool. You have to be using managerial skills to manage your AI, because otherwise you're like, oh, I could have done that faster myself. Move, kind of like, and let me just do that. I'll just knock it out because this AI is going to make mistakes and I'm going to have to fix it. It's just easier for me to do it myself. And so it's thinking about it as like an intern or a new employee. How do I guide and teach them and make them better? Those people use it and are power users, using it all day, every day, and they get great results. The people who thought of it as a tool, like, Google or whatever, they end up not using it. So I think that's really interesting, but please go ahead.
Yeah, it's back to the amplifier factor of usage. The business industry in general, whatever business, they need to stay competitive,
Yeah.
and they need to fast forward their business to compete with their competitors, so that everybody will use AI.
Yep.
Like, everybody will AI. Back to the people. Okay, the subject matter experts is gonna be the one is the have the key uh interaction with these AI in every single company. Like it's a step up. That's I think the transition is going to be step up. So like the subject matter experts, they will be orchestrating their AI agents in their field to get amplified, fast results to support their company's business.
Yeah. But interestingly enough, those subject matter experts, they have to use managerial skills, as even as you pointed out, they're going to have multiple agents. Now you're talking about managing a team of whatever. You're managing a team, whether it's AI agents or human agents, right? You're managing that team. And I think that's really tough in the IT world, that people that you get so used to like doing coding, running the code, building out the network, whatever it is. And we historically, we geeks really love that stuff, right? We enjoy the geekiness of it, getting our hands dirty, but those things are slowly, going away. Now it's more telling, that whether it's Claude Code or your cowork or your Gemini, hey, I need you to take a look at this script and tell me where I've gone wrong, or write this script and tweak this. And so now it's more managerial than it is. So that's a new skill set that I think the soft skills people need to work on, like human to human skills,
Mhm.
those are never going away, right?
No.
As much as we went through this transition phase where people thought, oh, just be a coder, you could be a coder in a dark room and nobody ever needs to talk to you. That's not going to work, because now AI is going to code better than you. So you got to have those people skills. And then it comes down to managerial skills, I think. Those two,
Yeah.
two skill sets, I think, are the future for, every worker.
Yeah, in general, outside the cyber realm, I think, I don't know, I might be wrong, but this is my prediction.
Mhm.
AI will change the education and the like in general. So now students in the academic field, and as well as the academic institution, they going to have changed the way of teaching. Okay, because of AI inclusion and students using AI. So that's my prediction, my thought, personal thought. Uh, the
Cool.
second one is the AI will be changing the music industry,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
and as well as AI will be used heavily on marketing. You remember the transition from machine learning to AI now? And as you said, as a conclusion, initial code writers will be fewer.
Yeah.
So then is the senior, the subject matter experts, okay, for the code writers, they need to review the codes because this codes cannot be relying 100% on AI results. It need to be validated before put it on production.
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't think it's going to be a junior developer writing code. I think the junior developer job now, like if you're in school and you're looking to be a developer, cool. Your job is going to be, how do you manage AI, and how do you leverage AI in your coding? You're not going to go in and be like, I'm going to write the code. You need to go in and I can manage these, and I can look at this. I can think through why this is going to be a problem, and I can see how this integrates into the existing code base. And now you have to be stepping up. You're not going to be a junior developer writing code in the same way anymore.
Yeah, and the human interaction is gonna be needed. That's
Yep.
what I said. Like AI will not replace human, but we'll get a fewer. It will reduce the human interaction on any workflow because we do have the support of virtual agents. And I was in a conference, like I will not mention the name of the conference, but at the stage that during the keynote, they said like they asked the keynote speaker asked like, how many of you gave employee number to your current agents? Just yeah, it's this is like this is where we're heading. Everything is changing. But this is what we know for now. But the human interaction, the sophisticated detailed review of any AI outcome is going to be needed as of now uh, before putting anything in production. We're talking about production of a company workflow. That's
Yep.
that's is going to be, yes, but it's going to fast forward the production. All the company's outcome is going to be up to the speed by including AI, and our job as a security practitioners, we need to implement it with wide eyes open.
Yeah, I think that is just those are wise words, and I think that's 100% accurate. We see some cool stuff now. Like you look at CrowdStrike and Sentinel One. They've both implemented AI to help the analyst understand what this means. And it's early days, of course, and it's that's cool. It really helps. It speeds things along. You're like, oh, okay, I didn't see that, and it just gives you that summary really fast, and that's cool. But that's a glimpse of the future, like where we're
Yeah.
going. And I think you're spot on that it in the end it comes down to right now we need to be very diligent about how we implement it and thoughtful and careful about the inclusion. The reality though is on the security side, you have to start using AI to defend. I mean, it blows my mind that anybody is still using legacy security email gateways. Like, are you kidding me? Like 90% of the stuff that comes, even when you filter all those rules, I mean, the reason you see all these crazy a DocuSign emails. Like they'll go through a splurge. Suddenly there'll be this huge influx of this thing because the gateways haven't figured out, oh, like I can't track to see that, oh, that's a new thing. That's a new, let's say, URL. Like all these things that happen, it's legit. It's a legitimate URL. It's a legitimate DocuSign, but that DocuSign then takes you to a bad place. It's all to trick the end user. So the fact that people are still using so much legacy gives the bad guys this leg up. And I think that's why we're seeing billions of dollars flowing into cybercrime. If more businesses were faster to implement things, again, going back to things like Darktrace, where you're using AI in those on the security in a smart way, that stops it so much faster. 'Cause the thing that gets me is we focus so much attention on training the end user. Okay, the Jane is great at accounting. That's why she's in the accounting department. Jane is not great at cybersecurity. That's why she's in accounting and not cybersecurity. So the, I get that historically we've had to train end users, but now we don't have to. Now the goal of the technology that we implement should be to allow the end user to do their job and just their job. So the email that comes through should not require the end user to be like, well, is this safe or not? Nope. That should be on the cybersecurity products being used. If your email gateway lets stuff through like that, well, then you've got a problem with your technology, not your end users. And we're now at that place where that's a reality. We weren't there, I'd say, even 2 years ago. But now we are, and it's implementing stuff like that keeps, if we don't as an industry start pushing forward with implementation like this, the bad guys keep getting in and they keep getting money. And so that's where I'm at. But I'm curious, you've got thoughts.
Uh,
I've said a lot.
yeah,
Go
yes,
for it.
yeah. It's just there is no perfection on any. There is no silver bullet in any tool. So as we set our mind for failure every single day.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is no silver bullet. I cannot. For me, is just to give you the clear picture. There is no email security a gateway, even with the AI included, and that tool can get 100% accurate. So we need the raising the human risk is still there because with the shifting of, for example, I will like what's the industry what we are witnessing is the shift of the threat actors from not sending emails. Like the malware is not going through they know we have email security gateway and it's sitting there. So the shift is like they transition to the social engineering became like high on the second half of 2025. If you read the checkpoints, the annual report, it's eye-opening, and that's what we're facing. And we saw the switch because they want to social engineer the user and switch the channel from protected to unprotected path. So yes, I agree. There is a high percentage of improvement for the tools implemented on every single layer, but the human cyber skills, okay, is need to be exist. Plus, I will give you another example. These users, they have a personal digital realm. So it's not they're not using the company like devices 100%.
Yep.
So in general, to the public as a cybersecurity advocates, we need to like advocates and do security awareness for general public, the whole like all citizens.
Yep.
So to avoid being scammed, to avoid being like I mean on their personal life because that might be carried over to the enterprises.
Oh, 100%. And don't get me wrong. I totally agree. There is no perfect, solution, right? However, I do think that it is so if what slips through is, if the bulk of it is does not get through and you only get
Yeah,
like the most advanced targeted, I'm going after Jane, I'm calling Jane. Got it. Now you've eliminated 95% of cybercrime by
yeah,
use right and you've hardened yourself from 95% of it. The now for most smaller business or let's say medium business, if you're a hardened target, you're not going to get hit by the email that comes through that just mass, let me just shoot it out. I've rented this exploit, right? It's ransomware as a service. I've rented this and I'm just pushing it out and some dummy clicks on it. Oh, great. Boy, that got through their email, that got to them. Okay, that's a failure on the email side. We should have
yeah,
none of we should be using the tools to make it to where now it's look, you pissed off a nation state. Yeah, they're getting you, right? I mean,
yeah,
you just don't do that. I think we all learned that from Sony. Don't piss off a nation state that is happy to come and hack your, and send unlimited resources to come after you. Got it. Don't do the same with hackers, right? But most businesses aren't doing that, so you don't have to worry about it. But some, let's take large financial institutions like Chase, for instance, J.P. Morgan Chase, they're under more attack than the U.S. government, every day. And mind you, they spend $15 billion a year on their cybersecurity. They are like at the peak of cybersecurity funding and attack. They are the tip of the spear, as we say in the military, right? They're there.
yeah,
But for most everybody else, for a small business, medium business, enterprise, for most of them, the tools are really helping, the implementing this new technology now in the right way, I think drastically reduces that attack surface and hardens your defenses to the point where now if somebody gets by, you're like, look, there was nothing we could do. This nation state is coming after us. They're going to get us. You don't have to, there's nothing to defend. It's like, oh, yeah, we left the front door open. No, you didn't. You were using all the right stuff and they were just that good. The shame is when you get beat by somebody who just rented ransomware as a service and they don't even know what they're doing. They just bought this, they push a button, send out a bunch of email, and now you got ransomed. The fact that that's still happening in large quantities, that's where we need to stop it. And my argument is it's or I should say my position is it's the reliance on legacy security products that is allowing that to happen because every day the bad guys tweak it. Oh, it slips by. Oh, well, we'll tweak our filter. And the bad guys tweak it and they get by. That is a game of whack-a-mole that like as you said earlier, we have to be perfect all the time. They only have to be lucky once.
mhm,
We keep tweaking it. They tweak it and they get in. that game doesn't work. And we see that because they have billions of our dollars every year. So that's why I think people need to really, as cybersecurity professionals, really need to lean into AI and start adopting it as quickly as possible to safeguard our organizations. I think that needs to be the focus, more than we need to be careful. Of course, you got to be careful. Don't use OpenClaw to secure your environment. Like that's ridiculous, right? But not to knock on OpenClaw. It's super cool. It's lots of great stuff happening there. Anyway, I went off there, but I think it's so interesting, and I'm curious what your take is on all that craziness I just said.
Uh, yeah, it's 100%. I say like inclusion of AI in the cybersecurity defense system in any company. But as you said, not all the small and medium companies they cannot, but they can. The inclusion of AI features on the SaaS, the service,
Mhm.
the tools offer, like for example, like anything, and EDR, the endpoint protection.
Mhm.
If there is AI feature involved, so the correlation it will be fast. And if this is small or medium company have one of these EDR,
Yep.
they will be in better place than having like relying on a legacy endpoint protection. Of course, like the 100%.
Yep.
Uh, the us, we are just growing with it, with the flow.
Mhm.
Uh, we always evolving and is going to continue. Uh, w- every day is a different day for the cybersecurity practitioner. We learn
Mhm.
something and we jump on it. We try to be proactive, and we like that's is our ideal. But as I said, our ideal is to be 100% correct. But
Yeah.
even when the threat actor got lucky, we need to make the right decision on how to respond.
Yep.
I came up with like something. This is like it's a theory in parallel to the layer approach, which is the defense
Mhm.
in depth. Um, my advice to all cybersecurity practitioners uh, to know how to respond, okay, in these levels of layers. So I call it detection in depth. So,
Okay.
for example, I'm trying to be 100% right and on every single time. That is my defender dilemma. But if it's one layer breach, I need to have the right detection and responses on that layer. This is coming from understanding infrastructure and understanding the business of the company. The data workflow in every single company is different. There is no standardization of this. That's it will come into digesting every single environment and providing the right detection on each layer. So that's because there's no silver bullet.
Yep. No, I think you're right. It really does. That's well said. The cybersecurity professional, that really is their job, right? To layer it and understand the right response at each level. And I don't think until that day comes where you can have one AI agent sitting at the gateway guarding everything, or on each device protecting everything. Until that day, and they are a flawless agent because they're until that day happens, we have to take a layered, strategic approach to things. And I, as well, as much as I knock on not training the end user, obviously they have to play a part as well,
Mhm.
because they are part of that layer and they're the weakest link, in that chain. And it's unfortunate, but there needs to be technology to help support them and make their job easier and kind of set them up for success.
I call them the human firewall. So they are the last layer of defense. Like if all how much we got sophisticated AI inclusion, every single layer approach, detection in depth, but there is a percentage that will rely on the users because on their like the cyber skills of the user, but it's very minimal. As you said,
Yep.
the tools are getting sophisticated with the AI inclusion and learning the standard everything. The standard attack path is already defined and it's going to be protected. So, but if something come up new, like the switch from click fix to file fix to consent fix in the last and during the 2025, it's a difference. So they're just trying to lure the users. I'm sending you here just Windows are they exploited the clipboard. They put a script there. They do like so now the users know, but they change. There is like a change on the behavior from the threat actors, what they're asking user to do, and they're getting more like to real time. But I think the only thing is going to be social engineering. If the user got socially engineered or profiled, any tool you put in the tool, it's done. Like
Yeah.
like if a user like got social engineered and someone, hey, meet me, guy, like just put the, I'm giving you, I cannot send it to you by email, whatever. It's like I have it on thumb drive. Okay, let's meet for business. I mean, like it's then his thumb drive put in. You're in the environment.
Yeah. No, it's true. And I think that's why the policies and procedures are really important. And it's tough for organizations to keep up with cyber crime on the policies and procedures side, right? How long did it take for people to, and we know that companies are still struggling with wire fraud, because they'll get they'll get an email saying, oh, hey, send it here, right? Simple business email compromise. And if the policies and procedures are in place and people follow them, then it doesn't matter that somebody's email was compromised in that exchange. But again, going back to your layered approach, that's why we have layers, right? So
Yeah.
the technology, the policies, procedures, the end users, you name it, it's all there. Well, Sinan, I think we could do this all day. This has been so much fun. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your insights. I think this was a great conversation, and hopefully people kind of take it to heart and do something about it, because I think you gave them a lot to think about. But before we go, can you tell everybody where they can find out more about you and more about Master Electronics?
Yeah, you can. We are based. The Master Electronics started in Santa Monica, but we are based in Phoenix, Arizona. They can go to the masterelectronics.com, and we do have our e-commerce business. They're doing it as onlinecomponents.com as well. So this is part of our subsidiary is the e-commerce. I'm available on LinkedIn. That's the main official. You can reach me on there. But we're here. We're advocating for cybersecurity. We're riding till the end, and we will never give up.
I love it. Awesome. Thanks. And until next time.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Cyber Business Podcast. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.